The semiconductor industry has become a focal point in the escalating U.S. China trade war, driven by its critical role in national security, technological dominance, and economic competitiveness. So, here's an analysis of why semiconductors are a necessary investment amid tariff tensions, synthesizing insights from the search results. Semiconductors are foundational to modern technology, powering everything from consumer electronics to advanced military systems. The Trump administration's Section 232 investigation into chip imports underlines their strategic importance, framing reliance on foreign suppliers like Taiwan, China, and South Korea as a national security risk. U.S. vulnerabilities are pretty significant. Over 90% of advanced chips are produced in Taiwan, while China dominates legacy chip production and rare earth processing. Recent Chinese export restrictions on rare earths and chip-making inputs like gallium really highlight these dependencies. Tariffs as a tool. Trump's proposed 25% tariffs aim to force companies to reshore production, mirroring the Biden-era CHIPS Act incentives, for example, $39 billion in grants that spurred $450 billion in U.S. semiconductor investments. The U.S. is leveraging tariffs and subsidies to reshape global supply chains. When it comes to domestic manufacturing, companies like TSMC, Samsung, and Intel are expanding U.S. production, though building fabs takes years. For instance, TSMC's Arizona plant is operational, but honestly it requires years to scale. There are cost-benefit trade-offs here. While tariffs may raise prices for U.S. firms in the short term, for example, Nvidia faces $5.5 billion in export restrictions. They incentivize long-term domestic capacity. The CHIPS Act is considered more effective than tariffs alone, but combining both could accelerate reshoring. On the corporate side, Nvidia announced $500 billion in U.S. AI infrastructure investments, while Apple is diversifying chip sourcing to India and domestic suppliers like Micron. Tariffs are part of a broader strategy to counter China's dominance. China's countermeasures, like Beijing's export controls on rare earths, gallium, and germanium, are really designed to exploit U.S. supply chain weaknesses. Rare earths are, absolutely vital for defense technology. Think F-35 jets and green energy. The United States, in response, is looking to build alliances with partners like Japan and the Netherlands, which is home to ASML, to restrict China's access to advanced chip-making tools. In the short term, tariffs could, honestly, inflate costs for AI firms that rely on imported chips, as well as consumer tech companies like Apple, which imports iPhones from China. There's also the implementation complexity. Tracking the origins of chips in downstream products like smartphones is logistically challenging, and, well, it risks uneven enforcement. Market uncertainty is another big factor. Trump's unpredictable tariff timelines and rates, like that 245% on some Chinese goods, really deter long-term planning, as seen in TSMC's stock volatility. There are opportunities here too. Companies investing in U.S. production, for example Intel's foundry expansion, or those in niche technologies like rare earth processing, could actually benefit from reshoring trends. But, over-reliance on tariffs does carry risks, like retaliation and new supply chain bottlenecks. Malaysia, for instance, is positioning itself as a neutral alternative under the so-called China Plus One strategy. Semiconductors are, without a doubt, a necessary investment in the tariff wars, given their irreplaceable role in security and innovation. While tariffs and subsidies aim to reduce foreign dependence, real success depends on balancing short-term costs with long-term capacity building. Investors should keep an eye on companies adapting to reshoring, like Nvidia, TSMC, and sectors such as rare earth processing, where U.S. vulnerabilities still remain pretty acute. For policymakers, aligning trade strategy with allied cooperation is going to be key to countering China's supply chain dominance.